I picked up a destitute teenage girl nobody wanted. Out of sheer loneliness, I selfishly kept her by my side. I helped her pay off debts and paid for her schooling. Too bad we were 7 years apart. She was cold and distant to me, until a boy her age showed up. I watched her lose herself. Sleepless nights. On the day we broke up, she repeated those words and didn't once look back. That same day I got into a car accident. Major news outlets reported I was dead, but they never imagined. Years later I reappeared. She broke down and grabbed me. "Brother, I knew you weren't dead." I gave a cold smile. "Yeah, not dead." So I quietly returned to the country. At the auction venue, I sat in a corner of the last row. My assistant Lu Hong said, "Brother Fong, President Fong and your younger brother are here in the first row. Looks like they're after your gold watch." I curled my lips. Good they came. That watch was given to me at age 20. A personal gift from Grandma, nothing to do with the Fong family. Fong Mingyuan was insanely jealous. He kept shouting he wanted to take it. I still remember how loud she was that day. "I'm the Fong family's biological son. Why give it to Fong Yuan? He's not family." Everyone at the birthday party heard it. The secret of my background came out too. When Mom and Dad first got married, the doctor said they couldn't have kids. So they adopted me. 11 or 12 years later, Mom miraculously got pregnant. They had Fong Mingyuan. On the surface we were both treated as sons. In public the same weight. But behind closed doors it was completely different. Grandma was the only one in the family who loved me. After she died I lost all protection in that house. 4 years ago, Fong Mingyuan was diagnosed with depression. She pointed at my nose and said, "I don't want to see Fong Yuan. Every time I see him I have an episode." Mom and Dad looked guilty. We really have no other choice. Can you please leave this house first?" I was kicked out. To put Fong Mingyuan at ease, Mom and Dad bribed the media to publicly announce I died in a car accident. Meaning 4 years. Strange, really strange, Lu Peng muttered beside me. The Fong family is almost bankrupt. Where do they have money for an auction? A wealthy lady in the front row heard this. Turned around to chat with us. "You two aren't locals, right? How could you not know? Fong Mingyuan's rich girlfriend." "What do you mean?" "The beauty walking this way. The one headed toward us." The lady's brother said enviously. "The sole heir of the Bai group now. Bai Ningbing." Before I could react I followed her glance. Just then Bai Ningbing's gaze also shifted over. I immediately turned my head away. Lucky the last row had no lights. Sitting in the dark she couldn't possibly see me. It's not that I'm afraid to see her, but I made a deal with my parents. Take the money and leave. I won't appear in front of Fong Mingyuan. Consider it repayment for raising me. I don't want to break my word. The lady's brother enthusiastically filled us in. Bai Ningbing is actually Chairman Bai's illegitimate daughter. Word is the Bai family didn't acknowledge her until she was 20. Later, Bai's eldest daughter Bai Shui died of illness. With no other kids at home, they hastily brought Bai Ningbing back. Don't let her plain look fool you. The girl is only 24 now. 24. Still young. I studied Bai Ningbing from the shadows. She changed a lot. When we first met, she wore a yellow t-shirt full of patches, pant legs torn to the knees. Now she was radiant, a charming embroidered tassel hanging at her slender waist, and she wore rimless glasses. She had that icy seductive look. Her assistant was talking to her. I don't know what he said, but she curved her lips in a smile, then casually pushed her glasses up with her fingertips. This gesture, this image, it was hard not to remember years ago, when I whispered in her ear in private moments. I had asked Bai Ningbing to wear glasses, because back then I really liked girls with a scholarly elegance. Once she put them on she looked exactly like this, fingertips lightly pushing the frames, making me want to pounce on her. Who could have guessed that the poor girl who was once forced to submit to me was now the master of this hall? Lu Peng asked the lady's brother, "What's the relationship between President Bai and Fong Mingyuan?" "What else could it be?" the lady's brother said ambiguously. "It's not public. But everyone's saying they're about to tie the knot." I remained calm, as if I hadn't heard. The auction began. The gold watch was brought out. I couldn't bid in person, so Lu Peng did it for me. Just as we were about to succeed, suddenly, someone in the front row raised a paddle. 1 million. Bai Ningbing's voice was gentle. She effortlessly outbid me. I'm not short on money, but neither am I as wealthy as Bai Ningbing is now. After a few rounds, Lu Peng ultimately lost. The watch belonged to Bai Ningbing, but why would a woman want a men's watch? The answer, of course, was to give it to a man. Lu Peng was dejected. Brother Fong, I'm sorry, I comforted him. It's fine. She wouldn't actually give it to Fong Mingyuan, would she? Lu Peng complained. Giving her ex-boyfriend's keepsake to her current boyfriend. That's classless. I stared at the back of Bai Ningbing's head up ahead and really wanted to slap her. Bai Ningbing seemed to sense something. She suddenly turned around. She probably wanted to see Lu Peng, the one who had challenged her. But her gaze landed squarely on me. The lights flickered. Bai Ningbing was stunned for a moment. That one look must have scared her quite a bit. She had just bid on her ex-boyfriend's keepsake, and now she was hallucinating her ex-boyfriend. As we left, Lu Peng and I kept thinking. Lu Peng said, "Bro, how did you and Bai Ningbing end up together in the first place? Why should I hide it?" Lu Peng, I'm not lying. I wasn't exactly a good person before. When we first met, Bai Ningbing was 19 and I was 26. Back then, Fong Mingyuan hadn't developed depression yet, but our relationship was already strained. I lived alone outside. I only went back to the Fong family occasionally. One day, I took my dog out for a walk and ran into Bai Ningbing. She was sitting dejectedly on the curb. My first thought was, this young girl is really beautiful. Beautiful in a way that perfectly matched my taste. But beside her was a bottle of pesticide. I recognized it. I'd seen it in the news, a pesticide used by many for suicide. Looking at her clothes and mental state, I understood. This was a helpless little kitten trapped in a dead end. What a waste of a face. The little kitten still had some pride. Seeing me staring at her, she quickly hid the pesticide behind her back. Maybe out of pity, maybe out of a wandering heart, I walked over and started talking to her. See this dog your big brother is walking? It's a show-quality breed. I bought it for 100,000. At that time, Bai Ningbing had never heard that a dog could be so expensive. She looked at me in surprise, then at the dog and finally felt utterly defeated. She probably thought she was living a life worse than a dog's. So, I said a second sentence to her. Your big brother has plenty of money, but he's missing a girlfriend. Want to give it a try? Bai Ningbing didn't agree. I wasn't in a hurry either. I left my number, took away her pesticide, and told her to think it over before contacting me. A week later, Bai Ningbing called me. She came to find me covered in injuries. Can you help me? She stood in the rain, looking at me pleadingly. I smiled. Call me brother. She was silent for a long time. Finally, she lowered her head meekly. Brother. Only later did I find out that her mother had just died. Her mother had been cruel to her. When drunk, she would smash bottles on her, calling her a waste of money and a bastard. As she grew older, she gradually realized that her mother was right. She was an illegitimate daughter. Her mother had originally tried to use her to climb up the social ladder, but failed. In the end, even the child support was pitifully small. Her mother hated her. The only thing she left her after death was a debt of over $1 million. She couldn't pay it back, and the creditors tracked her down at school. She was forced to drop out. The injuries on her body were from people the creditors hired to beat her. It was really pitiful. I couldn't help but think of myself. Neither of us had parents who loved us. I saw a bit of myself in her, so I treated her well. I paid off her debts and found a way for her to continue her studies. As for Bai Ningbing, I could never figure her out. She was very obedient, came whenever I called, and worked hard. On Valentine's Day, she used the money she earned from part-time jobs to buy me a gift. When slightly tipsy, she would hug me and whisper her feelings. But most of the time, she spoke too little and seemed a bit cold. I thought that was just her nature, until Fong Mingyuan appeared. Fong Mingyuan was like a beam of light shining into her life. They had common topics like the same anime, could share internet slang I didn't know. Most importantly, they were the same age. Bai Ningbing smiled more, talked more. I noticed she started tossing and turning, lost in thought. One day, Bai Ningbing begged me not to tell Fong Mingyuan about our relationship. That stung. Being with me, was it so shameful? After all, our relationship wasn't exactly proper. Improper? I was stunned. What do you think we've had this past year? She bit her lip. You're my sugar daddy. I work to buy gifts for my sugar daddy. At the temple. You put your name and your sugar daddy's name on a love tree. You got drunk and said you wanted to grow old together with your sugar daddy. Tell me, am I just a sugar daddy? She stayed silent. I was almost laughing in anger. I treated her like a girlfriend, indulged her, was good to her. But in the end, she thought we were just a transactional relationship. No wonder. She was so obedient, yet so distant and cold. For the first time, I lost my temper at her. Fine, I'm a sugar daddy. Then you, as a pet, should know your place. What right do you have to make demands? Then I deliberately called Bai Ningbing over in front of Fong Mingyuan and told her to kiss me. Her face flushed with shame. But she couldn't refuse. Later, Fong Mingyuan developed depression. My parents asked me to disappear. The day I decided to leave, I broke up with Bai Ningbing. She asked why. I said I was bored. Her eyes dimmed, but she also looked relieved. When she left, she didn't look back. The next day, news of my death in a car accident was published. Now that I think about it, my death actually helped her. She already liked Fong Mingyuan back then. It's been 4 or 5 years now. Such a long-lasting love. I gave a wry smile. Walking down to the parking lot with Lu Peng, a voice suddenly came from behind. Just one syllable. And I knew it was Bai Ningbing. I was too familiar with her voice. Sweet, passionate, pleading, begging. I'd heard them all. Without stopping, I quickened my pace. Bai Ningbing's footsteps were messy. Suddenly she rushed in front of me, her voice trembling. Fong Yuan, I knew you weren't dead. In the underground garage. Her words echoed. Lu Peng signaled me to run. But instead of running, I took off my mask and hat. Bai Ningbing's eyes lit up with wild joy. Brother, it really is you. Who are you looking for? I asked. Bai Ningbing froze. Brother, don't joke. What did you just call me? Fong Yuan? That's not my name. You've mistaken me for someone else. I pulled out my ID and showed it to her clearly. My name is Bai Jiang. Bai Ningbing frowned deeply. I took out every ID I had on me. White background, black text, all said Bai Jiang. I thought Bai Ningbing could see clearly enough, but she still clung to me. There's no way. 2 people could look this alike. You must be him. Brother. Back then I didn't see your body, so I knew you were still alive. Heaven rewards the persistent. I finally found you. I was very annoyed. I told you I'm not him. Ma'am, if you keep this up, I'll call the police. Finally, I got rid of her. As the car drove away, Bai Ningbing still stood there stunned. Lu Peng said, Brother, you actually got a new identity. Next time be careful. Don't say your original name. Got it. Actually, Lu Peng didn't understand. I renamed myself Bai Jiang not to hide from anyone. I simply wanted to break away from the Fong family and be myself. I heard my biological mother's surname was Bai, so I took the name Bai Jiang. I wish my life could return to the beginning before it's too late. I thought the auction was just a small episode. But unexpectedly, the next day I met Bai Ningbing again. In the evening at a crowded bar, nobody could see anyone clearly. I didn't notice Bai Ningbing at all. She somehow walked up behind me and said, Brother. I have to say her voice was truly proud. Amidst the noisy environment, it flowed like a clear spring into my ears. You're not the person I'm looking for. Don't call me that. You are. Miss, you really have the wrong person. As I spoke, I turned around and found Bai Ningbing's eyes moist, as if 1,000 emotions were hidden within them. You are, she repeated firmly, reaching out her hand. Suddenly she touched the back of my neck. Brother, you forgot to hide your birthmark. There's a small birthmark on the back of my neck, red, curved like a crescent moon. But after Fong Mingyuan grew up, he heard from somewhere that a blood moon means bad luck. She would tell everyone, my brother is unlucky. Outsiders would just laugh it off. Instead, my parents believed it. They told me to hide my birthmark. It was embarrassing. I never understood what was so embarrassing about just a birthmark. In my memories, only one person said it wasn't bitter, Bai Ningbing at 19. She would take the initiative to kiss my moon, making me think she liked me too. But at this moment, 24-year-old Bai Ningbing's eyes burned intensely, as if they could scorch the skin on the back of my neck. I said, What's wrong with a birthmark? Only your brother has one? No one else can have it. Looks birthmark, everything is the same. Brother, how much longer are you going to hide from me? I couldn't help but laugh. I simply don't want to talk to you, that's all. Then, no matter what Bai Ningbing said, I ignored her completely. I even exchanged contact info. With a Passing Beauty, by Ningbing. Brother, I've been searching everywhere for you these past few years. Can you just look at me? I've grown taller. Brother, your ideal height is 170, and I've reached it. Brother, I haven't been with anyone all these years. Fong Mingyuan and I have nothing to do with each other. Don't be mad at me anymore, okay? I still ignored her. Just then, a beautiful woman came over and asked if I'd like to come to her place tonight. I deliberately pretended to agree. By Ningbing panicked completely. Don't agree with him. Aren't you the one who loves me the most? As she spoke, she suddenly grabbed my hand and pressed it against her chest, shouting loudly that I was harassing her. The whole place went silent. Everyone looked at us. I was completely taken aback. Brother. She even smiled at me, a smile unusually gentle and satisfied. You can't go anywhere. You can only stay with me. 20 minutes later, I was forced to go to the police station. With Bai Ningbing, I was about to leave, but the bar owner thought I was a pervert. At the police station, Bai Ningbing and I were interrogated one by one. When they registered my information, Bai Ningbing suddenly walked over. I knew what she was thinking. At the police station, no one can hide their identity, but I wasn't afraid. I handed over my ID. The officer scanned it and said, "You've been abroad?" "Yes, just returned and got into this trouble." "Parents?" "Deceased." The officer sympathized, returned my documents and said, "We checked the surveillance. This has nothing to do with you. You can go, Mr. Bai." Bai Ningbing couldn't believe it. He never changed his name? No, nothing shows up in the system. How is that possible? I laughed quietly and strode away. It's not easy for Chinese people abroad. I worked desperately hard to become a Chinese entrepreneur. How could I not even handle a small thing like this? Lu Peng was already waiting for me in the car. Just as I closed the car door, Bai Ningbing suddenly reached out and blocked it. The door hit her arm. It must have hurt, but she seemed to feel nothing. "Brother, don't you want that gold watch back?" I was stunned. My grandmother's gold watch, that was my weakness. But even a weakness couldn't control me. At worst, I could harden my heart and let it go. So I smiled lightly and said, "I forgot to congratulate you. You successfully bid on that item, paying such a high price. It must hold special meaning." I showed no flaw. Bai Ningbing couldn't hide her disappointment. She leaned one hand on the car frame. It happened to reveal the bracelet on her wrist, the token of love I gave her years ago. Back then, it was because of this bracelet that I once firmly believed that Bai Ningbing and I were mutually devoted. That was 5 years ago when we first got together. I bought a bracelet wanting to give her a surprise. Bai Ningbing was rarely home at that time. On Valentine's Day, she didn't answer my video call until evening. I was a bit annoyed. "Where did you go? I couldn't find you all day." "I'll be back soon." That's when I noticed there was a dining table behind her. There was even dust on her face. I put on a stern expression. "Where are you?" Bai Ningbing's eyes flickered. "Brother, wait for me at home." "I'll be back soon," Bai Ningbing replied. "Where are you?" Before I could finish saying that, I saw a woman in a worker's uniform flash past behind her. I was stunned. "Where are you?" "Fast food restaurant." Bai Ningbing sent me her location. When I arrived, she had already finished work, sitting alone on the ground at the entrance, her bag containing the dirty clothes she had changed out of. I said, "So you've been coming here, leaving early and returning late these past few days. Is the money I give you not enough to spend?" I asked too bluntly. Bai Ningbing's expression stung. "I wanted to earn some money myself." "It's not necessary. Wait until I found the right connections. You still need to go back to school. Besides, you don't need to work in a place like this to earn money." I looked at the rundown little restaurant. "The wages here are paid daily." Bai Ningbing's voice grew lower and lower as she spoke. Finally, she asked softly, "Do you dislike me now?" I didn't hear clearly, so I asked, "What did you say?" "Nothing." She quickly reverted back to her usual aloof demeanor. But before taking my hand, she wiped her hand on her clothes, rubbing off non-existent dust. When we got home, Bai Ningbing said, "Today is Valentine's Day. I used my wages to buy you a gift." "What a coincidence. I bought a gift too. Let's exchange." We hid the gifts behind our backs. We agreed to count to 3 and reveal them together. After 3 counts, 2 jewelry boxes appeared before us. The boxes were identical, and the bracelets inside were identical too. Hers cost 500. Mine cost 50,000. I actually can't quite remember Bai Ningbing's expression at that moment. I just remember she seemed a bit panicked and very embarrassed, apologizing to me. She said, "I'm sorry. I don't know about these brands. I didn't know it was a fake. I just thought it was pretty. I worked at the store for a few days to buy this for you." This was bought with her hard-earned money. I was very content. "It's fine. It doesn't look fake. Put it on me." The next day, a friend came over to the house. Bai Ningbing was washing fruit in the kitchen. The friend had sharp eyes and said to me, "Fong Yuan, how did you fall so low as to wear a fake bracelet?" Bai Ningbing at that time vaguely. I smiled and replied, "I'm happy. I'll wear whichever I like." TSK, aren't you afraid of being laughed at? That evening while showering, I took off the bracelet and placed it by the sink. When I came out, the bracelet was gone. It had been thrown into the trash. Bai Ningbing said, "A fake is a fake. It's not worthy of you. Then I'll have no family to receive gifts from." "You will." She lowered her eyes, expression dim. Her tone was light but exceptionally earnest, more like a promise. "Brother, I'll buy you a real one in the future." Thought. Bai Ningbing liked me. Later another thing happened. Bai Ningbing was found by her uncle. Her uncle had never cared about her and her mother before, but now that he heard she was dating a wealthy boyfriend, he wanted to squeeze some money out of her. Bai Ningbing refused. Her uncle turned hostile on the spot. In the restaurant in front of many people, he called her a kept woman putting on an act, just as cheap as your mother. That remark cut Bai Ningbing deeply. Bai Ningbing slapped him. But who knew, her uncle hadn't come alone. Her aunt brought several old friends, dragged Bai Ningbing into a small alley, and beat her. Someone pulled off her bracelet. The bracelet I had given her. Bai Ningbing went crazy crawling to pick it up. Her aunt thought the thing must be valuable and tried to snatch it. But Bai Ningbing wouldn't let go. She curled up, clutching the bracelet tightly to her chest. No matter how they hit her, she wouldn't loosen her grip. All of this, I only saw later from the surveillance footage. That day when I found Bai Ningbing, she was slumped in a deserted alley, hair disheveled, bruises on her lips. She was a mess. She used the cleanest part of her t-shirt to carefully wipe the bracelet, then put it back on. I rushed over and hugged her. I told her not to be afraid. "From now on I'll protect you." That day, Bai Ningbing held me and cried for a very long time. I thought, she liked me. The memory stops here. Lu Peng and I have already returned to the hotel. As usual, before going to sleep, he would report today's news to me. Lu Peng was halfway through when he suddenly paused. "Bro," he said, trembling a little, "something terrible. You've been photographed." Not only was I caught on camera, but Bai Ningbing was too. More precisely, the photo's subject is Bai Ningbing. She descended from the sky, becoming the heiress of the Bai group. With her stunning looks and perfect figure, she's always been in the spotlight. Even abroad, I often see her in the news. The media captured Bai Ningbing going wild at a bar. Of course, I was also in the frame. In the comments, someone asked, "Is that Bai Ningbing's new boyfriend? Did she break up with Fong Mingyuan?" People started digging into me. A resourceful netizen found an old photo of me. Shock. This looks like a huge scoop. The handsome guy in the photo looks exactly like Bai Ningbing's ex-boyfriend. Can you tell the difference? Damn, I heard the ex-boyfriend is the current boyfriend's brother. Deceased. Oh my god, is this some kind of substitute romance? Being with the brother only because she misses the older brother, and now there's an even more similar substitute. I don't know whether to call her devoted or trashy. Come on, Bai Ningbing and Fong Mingyuan were never official. When they appeared together, there was zero interaction. Seemed like Bai Ningbing was just using him. How did people even ship them? Same floor here. When I got into it, I found no sugar at all, just marketing accounts force pairing. So I jumped ship in time. Keeps getting more and more off topic. I couldn't be bothered to read on. I tossed my phone aside and went to sleep. A few more days passed. Lu Peng and I were strolling around, passing a newly opened mall under the Bai group. From a distance I saw several figures, the focus being Bai Ningbing. Lu Peng, sharp-eyed, said, "Bro, it's Bai Ningbing and Fong Mingyuan." They were holding an opening ceremony. Fong Mingyuan wasn't standing next to Bai Ningbing. Several executives stood between them. Judging by their positions, Fang Mingyuan seemed to have squeezed in. He was swaying left and right, as if showing something off from every angle. We stopped to watch. He was showing off the watch on his wrist, that gold watch. Lu Peng noticed it too. He cursed furiously in a string of Chinese profanities. I had already mentally prepared myself, so I was calmer than him. Forget it, let's go. Don't look at that trash. Just as we were about to leave, a reporter suddenly asked, President Bai, the watch you bought for 10 million at the auction is now on Mr. Fang's wrist. Does that mean good news is on the way? Bai Ningbing, who had just beaten Xia Mei, turned to look at Fang Mingyuan. In an instant her eyes turned red with tears. He suddenly asked and the venue fell silent. Even I stopped in my tracks. A watch? Who gave you the nerve? Wearing a fake watch at the opening ceremony of the Bai group. The moment he said that, the whole crowd erupted. Fang Mingyuan felt humiliated. It's not fake, he tried to lie. But Bai Ningbing went crazy, viciously ripped off the fake watch, and threw it on the ground. You don't deserve to wear your brother's watch. Not even a fake one, Fang Mingyuan. How many times have I warned you? Stop pulling these little tricks on me. You and your parents. For years, you've been using your brother's situation to threaten me, forcing me to tolerate your behavior and support your family. Now I don't want to tolerate it anymore. Take your marketing accounts and get out. The media stood stunned. What could be more exciting than a live confrontation? Some reporter took the lead. Click. The flash went off, bright as daylight. The other reporters finally caught on, shutters clicking non-stop. Fang Mingyuan was utterly embarrassed. He had always cared most about his reputation, but he didn't dare challenge Bai Ningbing. In recent years, the Fang family had been nearly ruined by him. It was all thanks to Bai Ningbing's help, so he chose to vent his anger at the reporters instead. Damn it, Fang Mingyuan's in trouble. Given his personality, he must have caused plenty of trouble before, but always had his parents and Bai Ningbing covering for him. This farce quickly made headlines everywhere. Those crying the loudest were the ones who had shipped the couple. Turns out it was all fake. Fang Mingyuan had bought his own publicity stunts. Worst of all, this family was truly despicable. They actually used their deceased relative to manipulate Bai Ningbing. So the beautiful Bai Ningbing had always loved Fang Yuan from start to finish. But they were destined never to be together, separated by life and death. What good does it do you to piss me off? The Fang family is truly wicked. I'll never eat at their chain restaurants again. I want to know, is that reporter okay? Not really. As far as I know, the reporter was taken to the hospital. After an emergency surgery, his eyesight was saved, but his vision was impaired and could never fully recover. Worst of all, that reporter had just lost his mother. Fang Mingyuan's curse. It was vicious. The reporter insisted on suing Fang Mingyuan for intentional assault. Bai Ningbing completely washed her hands of him. Lu Peng, the know-it-all, investigated and found out. Fang Mingyuan's parents tried to salvage their son's reputation by begging Bai Ningbing for help, but she kicked them out. Soon, Bai Ningbing's shopping mall introduced a competitor to the Fang family's restaurant chain. I knew he turned so quickly because I was back. Since he'd already found me, there was no need for him to keep suffering the Fang family's mistreatment. But my foster father, whom I call President Fang, had a backup plan. He released Fang Mingyuan's depression diagnosis report and refused to apologize. My son is an innocent child. He is sensitive and fragile at heart. He was diagnosed with depression a long time ago. I believe he didn't mean it. Can everyone please show some care and tolerance for depression patients? Once this PR was released, public opinion indeed turned around. I didn't care much about Fang Mingyuan's fate. I only knew I had to take the chance to visit the grave now. Previously, President Fang was afraid I'd sneak back to the country, so he had people watch my grandmother's grave and report to her if I appeared. Now she was overwhelmed with troubles and had no time to bother with me. I told my grandmother all about my life abroad. Half a day passed quickly. Just as I was about to leave, someone came toward me. Bai Ningbing stood frozen, flowers in hand. You really are Brother Fang. She was ecstatic. Bai Ningbing had also come to visit my grandmother. He knew how close I was to her. Every year he would take time to visit her for me. Brother, it's really you. There was light in Bai Ningbing's eyes. Why didn't you acknowledge me before? I didn't want to. Is that reason enough? Are you still angry at me? Don't overthink it. I looked at him coldly. Brother stopped wanting you long ago. Bai Ningbing said. I can explain. Back when Fong Mingyuan showed up, I mistook him for you. Do you still remember? 10 years ago. Before he could finish, a girl suddenly appeared. Brother, Assistant Lu is busy. I'll take you home today. Okay. I looked at the girl with admiration. This dress really suits you. The girl blushed. It's because my brother picked it well. Then she looked up at Bai Ningbing beside her, as if just noticing her. She exclaimed in surprise, Oh cousin! Bai Ningbing's face was terrifyingly pale. Bai Ning, why are you here? I'm learning corporate management with my brother. Bai Ning smiled innocently. Right, brother. I was already in the car, urging, why waste words on an outsider? Let's go. I'm really tired today. Brother worked hard. Tonight I'll massage your legs for you. He looked at Bai Ningbing with a provocative gaze. You don't have the right to stop him. He exuded a chilling murderous aura. I had no doubt that in the next second, he could tear Bai Ning apart. But Bai Ning still smiled. Because I'm 19 this year. Bai Ning is the child of Bai Ningbing's uncle. They're the same age but never met. In fact, they were extremely unfamiliar. After Director Bai's eldest daughter died of illness, rumors outside once said that Bai Ning would take over. But who knew? Director Bai found his illegitimate daughter, and Bai Ning faded from everyone's sight. He studied abroad. That's how we got to know each other. There's really nothing between him and me, just a pure friendship. Occasionally I teach him management. The age gap is too big. I can't bring myself to do anything. Bai Ning had some opinions about this tea ceremony, and said he wanted to return my grandmother's gold watch to me. Of course I wouldn't refuse. I set a time and Bai Ningbing came to the hotel to find me. He placed the watch in front of me. I beamed. Brother. What? Am I too busy looking at the watch? I looked up. I found him staring at me blankly. I haven't seen you smile so happily in a long time, he said. Brother, you look good when you smile. Smile more from now on. Thanks for the watch. I put away my smile. Bai Ningbing reached into his pocket and pulled out a small blue box. And this for you. Inside was his family's bracelet. He was fulfilling his promise. I pushed the bracelet back. No need. Bai Ningbing looked disappointed. Brother, there's something I have to tell you in person. 10 years ago. Do you still remember, brother? Another voice called out, brother. Interrupting him, Bai Ning came out of the bathroom, just finished showering. A towel wrapped around him, hair still wet. Where's my razor? Lu Peng went to the laundry room to get it. He'll be back soon. All right. Then I'll wear your shirt first. He looked at Bai Ningbing, nodded and smiled. Cousin, you're here. Have some fruit. His tone seemed to say, make yourself at home. First shock, then despair. Bai Ningbing's eyes were murky and dull, like a well that had suddenly run dry, utterly lifeless. After Bai Ningbing left, Bai Ning ended his act and asked, Brother Jiang, what were you two talking about just now? Nothing. Just now I heard my cousin say that 10 years ago, you two already knew each other. I frowned and thought, no, I don't think so. I didn't know what kind of game he was trying to play. I wasn't curious about Bai Ningbing's words. Lu Peng had already bought our departure tickets. I'd be leaving in half a month. But I didn't expect those so-called nominal parents to still have the nerve to come find me. They used to pretend to be family, but now they've completely torn off the mask. President Fong pointed at me angrily. Fong Yuan, why did you come back? Do you want to harm your little brother? I calmly sipped my coffee. My name is Bai Jiang. Bai Jiang. I call you a beast. You're nothing but a thankless wolf raised by our Fong family. Thankless wolf. I smiled faintly. When you kicked me out of the house, why didn't you say that? When you left me alone at the amusement park, why didn't you say that? When I had a fever and was dying, no one noticed, no one took me to the hospital, why didn't you say that? President Fong, you feast on rich food every day. He's terrified, his face trembling with anger. You did it on purpose. You ungrateful beast. You knew your brother has depression and deliberately came back to harm him. Really? I said slowly. Fong Mingyuan has depression? Are you sure? Fong was flustered. The old fox is still cunning. He panicked only for a moment, then returned to arrogance and rage. My son is sick. I know best. Only someone as heartless as you would question depression. It was you who made him sick. From the documents, I slowly pulled out a sheet, covering the top half. Is this the diagnosis report? Yes, that's it. How do you have this? This is my report from 4 years ago. I opened it, revealing the patient's name. Fong was stunned. Your precious son did get tested. I pulled out another sheet. His report is here. Patient, Fong Mingyuan. All values are normal. Healthy as can be. Fong's expression turned absurd. He must have known all along. After so many years in business, he couldn't possibly fail to see through such a lie. Yet he chose to play dumb to believe. Until now he couldn't pretend anymore. All his earlier momentum was gone. Fong Yuan, your brother might not have been diagnosed. You mean, a top-tier hospital is incapable, missed his case? Since my son says he's sick, he must be unwell. It's no big deal for him to make a scene. As his older brother, let him have his way. I fell silent, utterly speechless. After a long while I smiled with relief. To be honest, why did you adopt me in the first place? To pave the way for the child you'd have later. Fong was impatient and accidentally blurted out his true thoughts. There's a folk superstition. When a couple can't conceive, adopting a child first makes it easier to have their own. So, they never wanted me as a son. I was just a tool to help Fong Mingyuan be born. My absurd early life. A long dream. That night I was in a bad mood. I had a few too many drinks outside, got a bit drunk. When I came out of the bar, I saw someone sitting on the roadside. Her skin was very pale, and her professional outfit couldn't hide her curvaceous figure. Seeing me, Bai Ningbing stood up. Brother, my foot is sore. She quickly helped me. Why did you drink so much? Come on, let's go to your place. Bai Ningbing froze. I laughed heartily. Don't misunderstand. You had something unfinished to say earlier. Today I suddenly want to hear it. The story of you and Fong Mingyuan 10 years ago. She helped me walk slowly. Not about Fong Mingyuan, brother. It's about 10 years ago, you and me. The place Bai Ningbing lived now was very familiar to me. It was the apartment I rented when I moved out of the Jiang family. After I died, she bought it. The furniture, the layout, the display, all exactly the same as back then. Even the vase on the table. Bai Ningbing regularly bought copper-colored roses, always inserting 3. She even knew the exact direction the rose heads faced, just like I had arranged them back then. Bai Ningbing brought out a box from inside. Inside were letters, old and slightly yellowed. Seeing the handwriting, I froze. These letters were written by brother, right? She carefully smoothed out the creases on the paper. You are Jiyu. Jiyu was my old pen name, but I only used it briefly. 10 years ago, by chance, I became pen pals with a girl who was still in middle school. She poured out her troubles and pain in her letters. At that time, I was suffering from cold treatment. Reading her letters, I felt her pain. Our relationship was very pure. Just pen pals. I tried to guide her, urged her to study hard. But I never told her my real name or age. I was afraid she'd feel a generation gap and be too embarrassed to confide anymore. Later, when she asked my age, I made up a lie similar to yours that I was going to use. He changed his own big platform and online name to Jiyu and forbade me from using it anymore. I had already thrown this matter to the back of my mind. If it weren't for seeing these letters, I probably wouldn't have remembered it for decades. Brother, Fong Mingyuan's online name is Jiyu, and he's the same age as me. So I thought the letter writer was him. I even asked and he admitted it. It was him. That did surprise me, but upon thinking it over, it was typical of Fong Mingyuan. When Bai Ningbing questioned him, he intended to take on that identity. After all, Bai Ningbing was outstanding in appearance and came from a good family. Otherwise, Fong Mingyuan wouldn't have stayed with her until now. But that wasn't the reason. She was very beautiful and there were many people. Classmates, drivers, friends. Your friends. I was stunned for a long time. I used to have some fair-weather friends. We hung out because of family interests. They weren't true friends. I brought Bai Ningbing to meet them. To my face they were polite, but behind my back, they mocked Bai Ningbing, calling her a pet, a house treasure. Even the driver quietly said the same. Even though Bai Ningbing went out to work and studied hard, in their minds she was just a plaything that didn't belong on the stage. Those words even spread to Bai Ningbing's school. She was isolated in the dormitory, but even so, she didn't break up with me. Every time I wanted to argue against them, I couldn't find the words, because they didn't seem wrong. Bai Ningbing smiled bitterly. As a teenager, she was isolated and mocked because of her mother. As an adult, she was isolated and mocked because of love. That was her real life. I said, then you must hate me quite a bit for bringing you so much harm. On the contrary, brother. Bai Ningbing's tone was very gentle. In junior high, I planned to drop out. It was after receiving your letter that I decided to study seriously. On my 19th birthday, I planned to commit suicide. It was you who reached out to me. That's why I lived on. Twice you cleared the fog for me and set me on the right path. The moment I first approached Bai Ningbing, I truly only wanted to keep a little kitten. But later, she was far more than a kitten to me. She was companionship in loneliness, an embrace on cold nights fulfilling all my fantasies. Although she seemed very aloof, she never missed any moment when I needed her. Bai Ningbing herself very much wanted to break free from the shackles of identity. Unfortunately, the gap was too big. Reality, time and again, dragged her back into the dust. Even later, when she became president by the most honored woman, she could never forget that she came from the mud. Bai Ningbing buried her head in my lap. The living room was quiet. She sniffled softly, not crying too sorrowfully, more like a kind of calm and relief. Being with brother was my luckiest time. I still didn't get back together with Bai Ningbing, not from anger or wanting her to regret anything. At my age, my mindset had already undergone a huge change. Romance is possible, but it really isn't important. Compared to Bai Ningbing, that business of mine overseas interests me more. However, the Fong family matter isn't over yet. Fong Mingyuan faked a hospital diagnosis report. Somehow it was leaked. The Fong family suspects I did it. As they say, if you don't want others to know, don't do it. Fong Mingyuan's reputation was completely ruined. Those who used to contact her and speak for her now curse her the most fiercely. At the same time, my identity was also exposed. Fong Yuan didn't die. Insiders revealed that originally, to let Fong Mingyuan take over smoothly, Fong Yuan's death was deliberately fabricated. For a time, the internet condemned the Fong family. No matter how much PR President Fong tried, it was useless. Faced with this dead end, no company was willing to tarnish its own reputation. Netizens spontaneously boycotted the Fong families. Chain restaurants. In a fit of rage, President Fong sought people to retaliate against me. I was unprepared. That night, I was cornered in a dark alley by a group of people. Lu Peng was knocked unconscious by them. I was force-fed a sedative, growing drowsy, with no strength to resist. The thugs kicked and punched me, and someone was taking photos on the side, shouting, "Kill him." This was the Fong family's revenge. They wanted me dead. My head was too heavy, I couldn't hold on any longer, and at that moment, the man was yanked away and thrown to the ground. It was Bai Ningbing. He had brought a group of subordinates. I watched Bai Ningbing grab a steel bar, and then I lost consciousness completely. When I woke up, I was in a strange room, with Bai Ningbing sitting nearby. I quickly asked, "Where is this? Where's Lu Peng?" "He's fine in the next room. This is a nearby hotel. I sent you two here first." Only then did I notice Bai Ningbing was also covered in blood. His white shirt was stained red. "How are you?" "Hurried to the hospital." "I'm fine, brother," he comforted me. "It's all their blood." "Their blood?" Bai Ningbing was eerily calm. I had a bad feeling. "What did you do to them?" "One of them is dead." I was stunned. Bai Ningbing gently patted me, trying to reassure me. I was too heavy-handed. "It has nothing to do with you, brother. I'll take all the responsibility. Someone had died." I was very nervous, but soon I calmed down again. I reached out to touch his face. "Find a lawyer. The best lawyer. I'll testify in court for you, prove you acted to save me. Immediately. Right now. Start preparing now." "No need." "Brother," he said, eyes red, gripping my hand tightly. "It's all fake. It's all fake." After a long while, tears fell in large drops. He cried so sadly. "Brother, this dream was beautiful, but I have to wake up." Prisoner number 7. Bai Ningbing. Yujing called the roll as usual. Bai Ningbing looked over with vacant eyes. His voice was already exhausted. Yujing remarked, You're actually lucid today. How rare. Next to him, Exine Yujingwen said, Brother. What about him? He looking at the pretty one. He was mentally unstable when he came in. Hallucinations from the drugs. Kept calling for his brother. Crying for his brother. Brother complex. No, the brother he means is his ex-boyfriend. Don't you know? This girl, 4 years ago, she ran over and killed Fang Mingyuan, the young master of the Fang family. That case caused an uproar. It was huge. There are still people who don't know. Old Yujing clicked his tongue. He explained, the once famous Fang couple had 2 sons. The eldest son, Fang Yuan, was adopted. The second son, Fang Mingyuan, was their biological child. 4 years ago, Fang Mingyuan said he had depression and couldn't stand his brother. Guess what the Fang family did? They doted on Fang Mingyuan, so they wanted to kick Fang Yuan out. They even staged a fake car accident. Made him fake his death to comfort their own son. Unheard of. What a bizarre family, little Yujing said. Exactly. But Fang Mingyuan found out about this plan. Huh. Little Yujing scratched his head anxiously. And then? Then somehow, Fang Mingyuan, hiding it from everyone, secretly switched out the driver. He took the wheel himself and really ran over Fang Yuan, killing him. Sigh. Little Yujing gasped, showing pity. Ah, so tragic. The Fang family used connections to get Fang Mingyuan off the hook. He killed someone but got away with it scot-free. Terrible. And this prisoner number 7, she used to be Fang Yuan's girlfriend. Some say she was his kept woman, who knows. After she learned the truth about Fang Yuan's death, she couldn't get justice through the law, so she used the same method, ran over Fang Mingyuan. Old Yujing's voice was steady, like the setting sun. After she killed him, she turned herself in. They checked her identity and found out she was the illegitimate daughter of the Baisher group. If you ask me, this girl has loyalty. She could have used Baisher group to avoid punishment. But she didn't. The Fang couple was destroyed by this. They went bankrupt soon after. Within a few years, both the husband and wife passed away. Xiao Yujing sighed deeply. In his delusion, prisoner number 7 must have seen Fang Yuan again. That's right. The Baisher group hired him a new doctor, who comes every month. The doctor says he's making up for his guilt inside his own hallucinations. Perhaps it's the handwritten letter from his youth, the guilt of mistaking the wrong person, the cowardice of never daring to acknowledge the relationship, the bracelet he never managed to give, and the countless times he was defeated by reality, the I love you he never spoke. 10 years later I returned to this country, this land that once broke my heart. But my mood was surprisingly calm. Just after my 37th birthday, I received a call from home, asking if I could come pick someone up. On the other end of the line, a name I hadn't heard in a long time was spoken. Even after all this time, hearing those 2 words still left me stunned for a moment. I came back to this women's prison. Waiting for me were not just the prison guards, but also a psychiatrist. They showed me Bai Ningbing's psychological treatment records over the years. More precisely, it was a record of every hallucination she had. She wished I was still alive. She wished I had a successful career. She wished I was angry at her, yet still willing to listen to her explanation. She wanted to tell me how she truly felt properly. In her hallucinations, in the end I would caress her face. I flipped through the long records, silent for a long time. I touched my own face, yet I wasn't dead, but I had changed completely. Back then, Fang Mingyuan had nearly run me over. I escaped that disaster and hid overseas, afraid to contact anyone back home. The car accident disfigured me. The doctors had no choice but to perform reconstructive surgery. Only by changing my name would no one know I was Fang Yuan. I started a new life abroad, happy and fulfilling. To this day I remain unmarried, because I don't need to. I love my career, and I've become a renowned Chinese entrepreneur, just as I wished. Now Bai Ningbing has been released after serving her sentence. The doctor said her illness has mostly recovered, and she behaved excellently during her time in prison. I contacted her family, but they refused to come. She's an orphan. Thought, the only person she could call family is you. So they found me. Everything was, the doctor said, we thought. It was the patient's delusion. In a past life, shaping the same 19-year-old girl. To warn herself. I read through the reports for a long time, then finally nodded. All right, I'll take her away. The doctor was overjoyed. You're really willing? The past is gone. I've moved on long ago. Nearly 40. What's there I can't let go of? Besides, my career is in a transitional phase. Her connection to the Bai family is useful to me. Thinking of this, I laughed bitterly at myself. Getting older, I consider things always from the angle of profit. That's not good. I signed my name on the paper, then went to sweep my grandmother's grave first. I had arranged with Eugen to come pick her up in the afternoon. By the time I rushed back, I was already late. The spring in my homeland is always grand and lively. The scent of flowers surged like a tide, seeping into my body and soul. At the prison gate, Bai Ningbing sat on the edge of the curb. Petals fell, landing on her shoulders. She was no longer an innocent girl, yet she still seemed like that same young woman. I looked at her for a long time, reached out my hand to her. Big brother is here to pick you up. Just like back then,